So for this next little short snippet, I was asked to talk about some of the common pitfalls or mistakes people make when using YouTube, for example, and I thought, boy, why not make a few of them? So for example, not being aware of your surroundings. So I'm in my house and I don't know if I had to beg or threaten my kids to be quiet for a little while so I could record the video. The dogs are around the house somewhere. I think some of them are, you think that they would be common sense pitfalls or mistakes, but sometimes I think it also boils down to just overthinking it. Although there are all sorts of apps, programs, and applications that I could buy to download, excuse me, to do videos for YouTube specifically, or just or videos in general. Sometimes the most simplest tools work. In a MacBook, it comes with loaded software, and I'm sure a PC does too. But right now, I'm using Photo Booth, and it just uses the camera on the device and records or takes pictures of the front-facing camera. If I were using an iPad, I might use something similar. I might use something different. I know when I had talked about how we could or would use YouTube, I had mentioned to the other people I was talking to, I probably won't go down the rabbit hole of all sorts of other apps and features that you could use, because part of it is this is just the introductory of how you would use it. I think also people don't leverage some of the tools in YouTube, for example, being able to create playlists or save videos for later. Think of it as making a catalog or a file folder or some type of tracking system in YouTube for videos that you see or could use for later use. Also, when videos are done, not being aware that sometimes at the end of a YouTube video, it automatically pops up with an advertisement or a suggested video that might not be necessarily kid appropriate. So there are tools out there that you can use to scrub some of that content. And I know one of the last slides of this kind of session or course is how to pull those ads off. And one of the sites that I was asked to share was ViewPeer. And although I haven't used ViewPeer very often, when I was back in the classroom, and yes, they did have YouTube when I was back in the classroom, but there were ways to pull that content. I mean, back in the day, you used to be able to hit share and not even, it would have an option, don't show related content. I think when you're creating videos, one of the mistakes people make too is not using the option where it says, is this stream being created for kids, or is this video being created for kids? And if it is, check that option. And granted, it eliminates some of your chat and commenting features, but it also pulls back some of those advertisements. So I think sometimes as far as overthinking it goes too, I'm not familiar with Schoology. It's not a system that I use. I'm sure it has something similar. But from the elementary or the K-5 end, we use Seesaw, and that has a built-in video recording tool that has a 5-minute limit. So if your content is under 5 minutes, which, let's be honest, a lot of times the stuff that we're pre-recording, if it's more than 5 minutes, people aren't going to listen. So although I'm sure there are other pitfalls, like I said, it's, keep it simple, use applications you're familiar with. A well-polished turd, for example, is still a turd. So if you haven't seen people that are creating the stuff that's really razzle-dazzle, but when you really get down to the content and it's not quality, quality over kind of, like I said, dressing it up. Probably going to hear about that later, polishing the turd. Well, no, listen anyway. But yeah, keep it simple. Use applications you're used to. Ask for help. I usually use the 5 to 15-minute rule. On a bad day, 5 minutes is all I'll put in, and if I don't know, I'm going to ask somebody for help. On a good day, I might stress it out or work it out for 15 minutes, but then I just ask for help from somebody else and have them point me down the right path. There's no sense wasting your time. So use the other features in YouTube, for example, of creating playlists, saving videos, start subscribing to channels that you either could use or share that's really good content. Sometimes the content that you might want to create, it's already out there, and somebody's done a really good job of it. And part of it is being able to curate your own collection for your own usage. So, I mean, hopefully that's helpful. And like I said, 5 to 15 minute, I always thought was pretty good. 5 minutes on a bad day, just ask somebody for help if you're stuck. 15 minutes if you're having a good day. If you can't figure it out, ask somebody you know that can kind of point you in the right direction. So hopefully that has been worth your time, and my threat or bribe must have worked. The kids are pretty quiet.